Hello, everybody. I'm Camille Smith, owner and founder of You Unlimited and creator of Restoration Yoga. So, I would like to share with you another one of my stress buster techniques to help you mitigate the stress that you might be feeling right now. It's good to have lots of different tools in your tool belt because certain tools will work for certain people and at different times. So, if you have a variety of things that you can use, that's better, right? So, here's another one to add to your list or your tool belt. If you have ever journaled before, you might journal for different reasons, okay? For instance, I promise this is not going to be totally about journaling, so don't tune out yet. You might journal because you like to keep a record of your life or things that happened or especially important events you want to remember. Or maybe you're keeping a journal for posterity. Or maybe you're journaling because it's therapeutic. I know for me, it's very therapeutic to get it out. And that's basically what this particular technique is for. It's called the brain dump. So remember, your body is like a container. It holds feelings and it holds emotions that you have if you aren't able to feel them at the moment. It sort of stores them. And some people do that on purpose and other people aren't aware that it's happening. But the after effect of storing and not feeling feelings is usually like a powder keg. It's usually like a little bit of an explosion. And maybe you're familiar with that. I've definitely had those before. So in order to mitigate that, you can use the brain dump. When do you use it? If you're feeling particularly agitated about some circumstance, usually beyond your control, what you can do is you can grab your notebook. Now I'm going to show you something first. This is my journal. And when I'm sitting down relaxed and I'm just capturing what happened, I just write, whatever happened that day or weekend, whatever I want to remember. And that's all good. Now, if I'm sitting down to do a brain dump, I just have a notebook here and a pen. And all I'm going to do is put my pen on the paper and start writing. It's really a release. You're literally letting the feelings come up and out. So here it comes down your arm, all the way into your fingers and out the edge of your pen. And it's the most wonderful release. It's like a kind of like you're throwing up on the paper. Now, if you do this exercise and you're particularly agitated or upset or angry, believe me, I have done this before. It works really, really well to get it out. So you might be wondering, what exactly am I supposed to write on my paper? Write whatever comes to mind. Listen, it's not the words themselves that matter. It's the feeling that accompanies the words. Okay, so if you look at my paper, it's probably backwards for you, but basically it says grr at the beginning. So I have started some out like that, just like so mad, just yeah. And then as I start to write, it comes faster and faster. The emotion begins to come out because it has a place to go. It has voice, right? Your hand is the voice. And so a lot of times it's so fast that I can't even capture the words. I can't write that fast. And so if that happens to you, that's what the scribbling is for. Remember, it doesn't matter the words, it's the feeling. You're trying to help it vent. And so just put your pen and just scribble away, and you will know when to finish because you'll feel like an unraveling sensation, like even you might even sigh, like, oh my gosh, that felt so good to get that off my chest. So just keep going until you get to that point. Now you might be wondering, what do I do after all that's over? Well, it's your choice. You can do what you want. You can go back and revisit. Probably if you're feeling agitated, I wouldn't go right away. But you can go back when you feel calmer and you can read it. And maybe you can get some insight as to what it is that's agitating you. Sometimes we don't even know until we get it out. And then we're like, oh, that's what was bothering me. Because there's sort of layers. Is this issue that you think is the issue, but really there's one under that, and there's one under that, and there's one under that. So this is a way to help get to the bottom of it. So you can read it, get some information, no need for judgment, just learning what it was. Another thing you can do if it's particularly toxic and you don't want to go back to it is you can just rip it to shreds and throw it in the trash and be done with it. If you're feeling particularly dramatic, you can even burn it, but please be careful and make sure you do that outside in a safe place. Now, one other thing I wanted to add to this is if you can use the same sort of exercise in a letter. So if you've ever felt like you needed to communicate something to somebody, but you didn't want to do it face to face or in person, and you weren't really sure what it is you wanted to say, but you just knew there was something, you can use the same technique. You can write a letter to that person. Okay, you can use your computer and type it too, but I find that writing with your hand has a especially great result. So after you get it all out on your paper, whatever it is you're feeling or whatever it is you're wanting to communicate with that person, again, stand back from it, wait till all the emotion sort of settles down, and then look at it. And then you can decide, do I want to send it to that person, or was it enough just to get it out and I don't need to send it? Maybe it's really nasty and you're like, I know I'm not sending that letter. Then tear it up, rip it up, shred it, burn it, whatever you want. So it's your choice. So there's your technique for today. It's the brain dump. And if you haven't tried it, give it a try, see if it helps you. Just like all of these techniques that I'm sharing with you, take what works for you and leave the rest. All right, love you guys. Talk to you next time.